My name is Dan Vernoyen. I'm from Montana, and I was lucky enough to meet Mark and so many of these wonderful people here today back in 1985 in Washington, D.C. at American University. And I first met Mark on the soccer field, which, you know, after you listen to a lot of these stories today, sounds like the place he liked to spend a lot of time. And I was kind of a large, loud man from Montana, and he was a more refined man from New York City. But we had a lot, we sort of approached things differently, but we had a lot of, we built quite a friendship, I think, on the soccer field over the years. And, you know, if you went, when we were going to school in Washington, D.C., you spent a lot of time driving to soccer games. And so inevitably, Mark and I spent a lot of time driving and talking about the state of the world at that time. And, you know, as I thought back on my friendship with Mark, I realized that my friendship with him was probably not always as fair an exchange as it probably should have been. In that he taught me so much more than I actually thought I probably taught him. And when I hear and I listen to these stories of a lot of people telling stories about Mark, it's really apparent that he did the same thing for so many of us. And as people and as folks that care about their country, there's something deeply special about having the opportunity and feeling very fortunate about having the opportunity to spend time with somebody like that, who gives us the tools to move forward and hopefully make the world that we can all be proud of. So I thought a lot about how do we honor Mark? How do we remember him? And, you know, if I think about Mark and his dear love Brita, you know, they've dedicated their lives, like so many of you, to educating the next generation of kids. And, you know, I'm on the school board in Montana, and the more I think about the future and the more I think about our country, the more I realize just how important it is to have teachers like that in the school system. They're every day on behalf of our children, because we put so much trust and there's so much riding on our ability to get these kids ready to thrive. And people like Mark, that's what they did. And that's what so many of them have done. You know, I'm a Red Sox fan. Like, one of the first memories I remember with Mark, it was fall of '86, game 6, and he was a Mets fan. I was a Red Sox fan. The Red Sox had struggled for years, as everyone that liked baseball knew. And the Red Sox were up by 2 runs with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And I was starting to celebrate. And Mark looked over at me and said, "It ain't over till the fat lady sings." I have no idea what that means. I'm from Montana, but I bet that has something to do with the fact that you don't count your chickens before they hatch. Well, sure as hell, Mark was right. And in Mark's sweeting fashion, he didn't do what I would have done, which was gloat. He just kind of looked over and smiled. You know, another time we were driving to a soccer game, and you know, it was the late '80s, and I was just convinced that the United States was going to lose its position to the world. And kind of Mark looked over to me, and he kind of chuckled, like he often did, because he read a lot more than just one article a day on a certain topic. He read several. And he started to educate me. I'm like, huh, you know, you're actually right. And 2 years later, the stock market had fallen in half. So often, and you know, so much of what I want to say is, it's not the details of these stories, but it's just really these little nuggets. That if you think back on your friendship with Mark and your life with him, in whatever way you spent your life with him or experienced him, I'm sure he gave all of us a little chunk of wisdom, something pretty special that we all can think about and we can use in our lives. And, you know, not all of us are teachers, but we all touch people and we all care about people. And I think if you want to remember Mark, and I know we all do, I think that was what he dedicated his life to. And I think that there's no better way to honor him today than doing the same thing. And, you know, for me, and I'm much like Mark, I'm pretty much an atheist and a strong evolutionist, but death is something that, you know, it's a very difficult part of life for me, because I don't know what happens next. And it's, you know, it's so sad, but it's also so inescapable, and it's that part of life where when somebody passes, it's up to us to keep his memory alive. And I think we can do that, and we're doing it today. And I'm sure that, you know, right over there in Reynolds School and on the soccer field, and I'm sure today with so many of these students, he touched a lot of people. And it's that touch that lives on, and it's that touch that's going to make the world and this part of the world a better place. And it is hard to do what Mark did, which is leave a family of 6 from New York City and move out to a strange place, Portland, Oregon, a different place, and build a life. Kind of like Lewis and Clark, he was a pioneer. He moved out here with some great friends, and, you know, here we are. And he was a great person. I miss him. I didn't get to see him nearly as much as I would have liked in his later years, but it touched me greatly to know that when he was here in his final days, he had such a wonderful group of people who loved him so much and supported Brita and supported him as he made that very difficult final part of his journey. And so thank you, because I know that wasn't easy. And I'm sure he appreciated it more than he could have ever expressed. And, you know, I was honored to know him. I hope he rests in peace, and hopefully someday we'll all be back together and he can teach me some more. So, thank you.